All right, so you've almost certainly heard of Eckhart Tolle's pain body, right? I mean, it's one of the biggest spiritual ideas out there. But what if I told you that the story of where it actually came from is, well, not what you think? We're about to pull back the curtain on its surprisingly hidden history. So just to make sure we're all on the same page, what exactly is the pain body? Well, according to Tolle, it's this kind of energy field made up of all the old, leftover emotional pain we've ever felt. He calls it the living past that's literally inside you. It's a huge foundational part of his whole teaching. But the big question we're asking today is, where did he get that idea? And look, this idea is absolutely massive. We're talking tens of millions of books sold. That makes Eckhart Tolle one of the most influential spiritual teachers on the entire planet. The pain body isn't some obscure term. It's totally mainstream. And you know, that's what makes digging into its real origin story so incredibly interesting. And here's the really crucial part of the puzzle. The pain body is almost universally seen as Tolle's most original contribution. It's his idea. You even have academics like Professor Arthur Versluis who single it out from all his other teachings, calling it one of his own individual concepts. So the accepted story is, this came from him.
But is it really that simple? This is where our investigation really kicks off. We're going to look into the hidden history of this blockbuster idea.
So, let's ask that question again. Just how original is this idea really? Let's start digging into the evidence.
Okay, this timeline is going to be our roadmap. We're going to start way back in the 1950s with a teacher you might not have heard of, Maurice Nicoll. Then we'll jump forward to the 1980s with another key figure, Barry Long. And keep in mind, all of this is happening decades before The Power of Now ever hit the shelves in 1997.
All right, clue number one. This takes us back to Maurice Nicoll. He was a teacher in a spiritual tradition called the Fourth Way, and he came up with this really fascinating concept, one that sounds, well, eerily familiar.
So, Nicoll wrote about this thing he called the time body. And get this, he described it as a psychic accumulator, something that stores up and carries around a mass of useless suffering from our entire emotional past. Does that ring any bells?
I mean, the parallels here are just striking. Nicoll's time body, it carries accumulated pain. It contains the living past. It can be transformed or transmuted by being consciously present with it. He even said it could have a really bad effect on a marriage, which is the exact same warning Tolle would later give about having a dense pain body. This is getting specific. But wait, it gets even more interesting. Nicoll had a second idea. He talked about a kind of psychic infection that doesn't just sit there storing pain. It actively feeds on new negativity to survive. Now remember that detail, because that's a key feature that's going to pop up again with the pain body.
Okay, let's move on to clue number 2, and to a teacher named Barry Long. And I got to tell you, this is where the connection goes from interesting parallel to, well, incredibly direct. It's going to be a lot harder to call this one a coincidence. And here it is, the direct link. Before Eckhart Tolle was, well, Eckhart Tolle, the global superstar, he was just a guy attending spiritual seminars in London. And guess who he was studying with in the 1980s? You got it, Barry Long. This isn't just a coincidence, folks. This is a direct line of influence, from teacher to student.
So what was Barry Long teaching? He was talking about something called the unhappy body. He described it as this dark body of accumulated emotional energy, a parasite made of all our past painful stuff that lives inside us. It's almost like he took Nicoll's two ideas, the time body and the psychic infection, and merged them into one single concept, a concept that is practically a blueprint for the pain body.
Seriously, the resemblance here is just unmistakable. Let's put them side by side and you'll see what I mean.
Okay, I mean, it really does not get more direct than this. Barry Long described his unhappy body as, and I'm quoting, the living past in you. Years later, how does Eckhart Tolle define the pain body? With the exact same phrase. It is the living past in you. It's literally the same wording. And it doesn't stop there. The similarities just keep stacking up. Just look at this breakdown. What's its nature? Both call it a psychic parasite. What's it made of? Both say it's accumulated emotional pain. What does it do? It feeds on negative thoughts and emotions. How do you solve it? Through conscious presence. I mean, you go right down the list, attribute by attribute, they are the same concept. So, all of this brings us to the final piece of the puzzle. And honestly, it might be the most awkward part of the whole story. The big, unanswered question of, well, of giving credit. You see, when an interviewer asked Tolle about the pain body's origins back in 2010, he framed it as a totally personal discovery. He said, and I'm quoting him here, "Through working with people, I came to that realization, and that was quite a realization for me when I saw that." The way he tells it, it sounds like an idea that he came to all on his own.
And yet, here's the thing. Tolle himself has openly said in other interviews that he went to Barry Long's seminars and that he loved his teachings. So how do you square that? How does the claim of an independent, personal realization fit with the fact that he was a student of the very man who is already teaching an almost identical concept?
And that leaves us right here with this one final, really provocative question. When you have such profound similarities and a direct link from teacher to student, why aren't these incredible influences acknowledged? It's a question that really gets you thinking, not just about this one idea, but about originality, influence, and honesty in the whole world of modern spirituality.